Matt Lauer in New York, and we do have a special report from NBC News. There has been a massive explosion at a federal building in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. It happened just a short time ago. A large portion of that building has collapsed and fallen away from the rest of the building. At the moment, we don't have any specific numbers on injuries or deaths, but we can tell you that the Red Cross in the Oklahoma City area has asked for all volunteers to report for duty. Also, we can tell you that they've asked for donations of blood, so the situation is obviously serious. We're going to go right now and join our coverage of our sister station, KFOR, in Oklahoma City. They're on the air, and maybe they can give us some more information.
Just to recap real quickly, we've got an explosion that occurred approximately an hour ago at downtown Oklahoma City. Tremendous devastation, a lot of confusion going on right now, and the FBI obviously very concerned about this because, as we heard from KTOK radio here in Oklahoma City, they are asked now to evacuate 50 Penn Place, which is a building which the FBI is located on the 4th floor at Pennsylvania Northwest Highway. So they're concerned perhaps, we are speculating, that there's a possibility of another explosion or that they need more space for the personnel, but they are evacuating that building as we speak as well. So again, Lee, a tremendous situation going on right now. Emergency personnel are needed. Those that can donate blood, the need is also right there. So go to the Oklahoma Blood Institute or your local hospital and donate blood. That's needed right now.
And Dan, for our viewers who may have just joined us, let's go ahead and recap what happened. There was an explosion. It happened about an hour ago, as you said earlier. Happened at about 9 o'clock. You may have felt it at about 9 o'clock. It was at the Alfred Murrah Federal Building in downtown Oklahoma City. Right now, we're about to get a live report from the News Channel's Tara Bloom. Tara, what can you tell us?
Well, Lee, just take a look for yourself. There's the Alfred Murrah Federal Building behind me, and you can see just how badly damaged it is. It's about half of the building that is literally hanging, and at the bottom 2 floors are just stacked debris. Now, there are several other buildings right around. To give you an idea of what kind of impact this had, look at the Regency Towers there. Almost all the windows have been blown out of that hotel complex there. It's several block area. It's complete devastation. Windows blown out of all the buildings. Some of these older brick buildings, the brick walls have collapsed, and they're still taking away dozens of casualties of this explosion. In fact, they've been running out of ambulances.
You are watching live coverage from our station KFOR in Oklahoma City. They are covering the explosion that took place in that city a short time ago at the Alfred Murrah Federal Building. And again, we'll have more information for you on this NBC station as it is available to us. I'm Matt Lauer in New York.
This has been from NBC News. This is NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw.
Good evening. Tonight, a special edition of NBC Nightly News, terror in the heartland. A massive car bomb exploded outside of a large federal building in downtown Oklahoma City, shattering that building, killing children, killing federal employees, military men, and civilians. It will be hours before we know the exact number of fatalities, but tonight, at least 17 children are dead. Hundreds of other people still are missing. The explosion in Oklahoma's capital city came without warning around 9 Central Time this morning, stunning a wide area with a ferocious blast that left a 20-foot crater. The large Alfred Murrah Federal Building crumbled, sending an untold number to their deaths. We begin tonight with 2 reports. NBC's Jim Cummins.
The chaos in downtown Oklahoma City did indeed resemble Beirut after what police believe to be a 1,200-pound car bomb ripped through the 9-story federal building shortly after 9 o'clock this morning. More than 500 people were already in their offices, and at least 50 children were in a daycare center on the 2nd floor.
The floor from above went down, and it just kept falling. It was a horrible noise.
Hundreds were trapped in the rubble. One man said he fell 5 floors and survived. Penn hospitals rushed medics to the scene. An emergency first aid center began treating hundreds of people on the street. Those with more massive injuries were rushed away in ambulances.
Murphy, this is one of the critical. This is just ridiculous. I mean, I can't believe this.
The governor called out the National Guard. The president promised help from the FBI Anti-Terrorist Strike Force and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, one of the agencies with offices inside the damaged federal building. And in the midst of all this pandemonium, this stunning development.
Got one more bomb. Let's get out of here. Let's move everybody back.
That rumor proved to be false, but it delayed the search for survivors for 2 hours.
Margaret Goodson, Sandy, Charlotte.
At least 50 were presumed. Nurse Pam Burns made this discovery.
There's no one to save.
The first victims treated at the scene staggered out of adjacent buildings that were rocked by the blast. Police evacuated several blocks of the downtown area. Anxious parents rushed in to get their children. Some couldn't find them.
You haven't seen my daughter, have you?
Police were told by a witness that he saw at least 2 men in blue jumpsuits running away from a minivan outside the courthouse just before the blast. The witness told investigators the 2 men fled in a brown pickup truck. Late today, the FBI said it still has no suspects, but hundreds, if not thousands, of leads. And employees at one hotel say FBI agents have questioned them about 3 men who stayed there through the weekend and checked out early this morning. Another possibility investigators are pursuing is a terrorist act connected to the 2nd anniversary of the fire at the Branch Davidian compound in Waco, Texas. Jim Cummins, NBC News, Oklahoma City.
This is Mike Betcher. Oklahoma City is considered